300K. For 300K. 300K. Welcome to Montana Madness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 2 of Montana Madness. The hunt for 300K continues. Now, we've got 4 bangers today, so you guys get a nice long video of World of Warships Legends. I hope you guys enjoy. We are going to have an absolute beast of a showing for the Montana today. You guys know I'm out here grinding. I'm trying to get this game for y'all. I said I'd try to get a 300K game, and I'm going to put in the hours until we get it. It's going to take some time. You got to get the perfect conditions, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer, man. It's only a matter of time. It's not if. It's going to happen. It's just when. How long will it take me? How many episodes? This is a weekly series, for those of you who don't know. This is a weekly series where I challenged myself because I challenged y'all. I said, hey, guys, if you guys hit 500 likes on that video, you guys can, I will try to grind out a 300K game in the Montana. Because everybody says Montana's terrible. Some say it's the worst legendary tier battleship. I say it's a skill issue. We'll see who's correct. But surely, showcasing my best matches each night of the Montana, I mean, I am having some bangers, folks. First of all, my win rate's going up in the ship. I'm up to a 64% win rate in the Montana now, which is pretty good. That's my normal win rate, 63 to 64%, somewhere in that neighborhood. And not only that, but we're up to 109,000 damage average for the ship so far, and that's only going to go up if we keep this up. We're having some bangers, man. Yeah, there's some bad matches here and there, but most of them have been, at minimum, decent, but there's been quite a few great matches, too, and you're going to see 4 of them tonight. But as we push forward to the left side, you're going to notice a couple of things about this match. And one of the things that you're going to notice is a consistent thing about these big high damage games when you're going for big damage is that your team is going to be just competent enough to not get it completely obliterated, but not good enough to take all the damage from you. And then you're going to need the enemy team to be just competent enough to not get obliterated by your team, but not competent enough to pay attention to what you're doing, right? It's a fine line between raffle stomp and massive game, right? And that's going to be a kind of a theme for these big games. But one thing that's going to be consistent is the Montana. This thing is nasty. And remember, we don't actually have the legendary module. I did end up swapping my legendary module over from my Vermont into the Montana. I just forgot before I started grinding tonight. So from here on, I will have a legendary module on my Montana. If you guys don't know my build, go back to the first episode of Montana Madness. Check that out. It's got my build there. Okay, that's the build I'm using. So keep that in mind. But watch this, guys. Our destroyer in the middle is actually spotting this Navaran as he's committing to making a huge mistake. He doesn't know it yet, but he's about to become the first of many getting blepped of the night. So as he comes around the corner, he is flat broadside to us, doesn't understand. Unfortunately, a couple of our shells got ate up by the island there, and a couple more got ate up there. Imagine if all those shells made it through. That Navaran darn near got dev struck. He was almost completely erased. We almost Thanos snapped him out of existence, right? But don't worry, there's more where that came from. You may have noticed there's a couple of cruisers in the neighborhood, and both of them are kind of chillaxing a little bit too much. I say chillaxing because I don't understand why they didn't, I get it that they don't know that I exist, right? But somebody just blapped that Navaran, and nobody is paying attention to the flank. This is what we talk about all the time. You cannot give up this flank, ever, because it's death for your entire team. Not only do we have crossfires across the map, but then I just push around the corner and ruin everybody's day. Speaking of ruin everybody's day, wait for it. Come here. Any moment. There he is. Hello, Howden. You're a little comfortable, don't you think? Oh God. Montana, you dirty dog. Plow! Gone! He had no chance. He's like, my turtleback was supposed to protect me. Wrong, Sunshine. You're supposed to use your brain cells to protect you. That was not how that's done. Now, what followed next can only be described as the most disrespect that you can ever show a player. Do you guys know what that is? Well, first of all, we're going to take a shot at him, right? This Worcester's out here. He's going to do the little, you know, twisting track, try to dodge and get skinny. And RNG is going to be like, hey, look, we've given you 2 ridiculous shots. You got 109,000 damage in 2 shots, essentially. Let's dial that back a little bit. So, shooting at this Worcester, we're going to let him get away with it for now, if you don't mind. So, I just ignore the Worcester for a while. Like, you'll see here in a moment, we're going to take another shot just to kind of keep him honest, you know? And we were thinking about it, but look at the Republique over here. He's reversing. This is what I mean by disrespect. That Worcester's trying his hardest. And I'm just out here like, I couldn't care less about you. Oh my God, Montana, you... Golly, brother. Like, what is that? Like, that's 3 out of the 4 salvos that we've hit for, like, half or more of an enemy's health. That's crazy. Y'all still think this is a bad ship? But Spartan, any battleship can do that if it gets a crossfire. Well, yeah, but not every battleship can get themselves into this position this quickly and catch so many people with their pants down. Right? One of the beauties of the Montana. Sure, Burgon could potentially pull this off, you know, but most of the enemy battleships are just not going to be that fast at getting over to this side of the map. But, dude, again, he just got blapped. He's still not even looking at me. I've been spotted the whole time, by the way. But look at that accuracy, dude. Just completely ruining everybody's day. That Republique finally is like, oh, God, there's a Montana over here. Where did he come from? Who did you think been slapping you, fool? Good Lord. Oh, my God. This guy still has no idea I exist either. Well, let's see if he knows I exist after this shot. Wait for it. Boop. Too late. You don't pass go. You do not collect $200. We have completely smashed the entire enemy team, and they had no answer. And meanwhile, this poor Worcester is just sitting out here shooting at me still. I have completely ignored him, and he is just like, he is trying so hard. He's like, man, I'm trying to stop him. What am I supposed to do? I'm just a light cruiser. I don't have torpedoes. I just got to shoot HE until he burns to death. Except when you're the only one spamming HE and nobody's able to shoot me, I can get away with quite a bit. Now here we try to take a shot over the island. Unfortunately, he goes dark right before we get the shot off. So those end up hitting the island. But you'll notice that here I am going to go ahead and commit to the turnout, which means it's time for Worcester. We've given him a lot of damage. The guy is probably feeling pretty good. Due to the fire damage that he set on me, he's probably... Oh, wait. We're not ready for you yet, Worcester. You're going to have to hang on. Oh, never mind. I was going to say I might get another shot at Michelangelo here, but nope. He gets yeeted by torpedoes, and that's when the Worcester is just like, look, buddy, I know I've been shooting you, but please don't do it to me. I've seen how you treated everybody else. Please don't do it to me. Right now he is praying. He has dropped his controller. He's like, oh, God, here it comes. Kabla! Okay, yeah. He's coated in 32 mils. We're not expecting a lot there. We're hoping for better grouping so that we can hit the superstructure, maybe get a couple of funky, you know, penetrations from plunging fire there as he's at medium range. But yeah, other than that, as long as he's not full broadside, it's going to be hard for me to get real good consistent damage on him. But then he gets caught full broadside, and Worcester is not known for its ability to turn. And yeah, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And with Arthas, your health just immediately evaporates. That's an extra 20% damage. Now the guy next to me is probably like, hey, Spartan, hey, buddy. Oh, you got the whole ocean. Why you got to be right here? First of all, you're the smaller ship. You're supposed to make way for tonnage, is all I'm saying. But as you can see, Des Moines gets the easy kill there. And we're going to go back to trying to shoot the enemy Loria. We're at 223,000 damage. Not a bad game to start, huh? And we're not done yet. We're going to get a shot here at the Loria, try to get some plunging fire into that superstructure as well. Get a little bit more damage before this one ends, and we get another fantastic shot. 238,900 damage. Not too shabby. But are we going to get another shot before this game ends? We don't know. The destroyer's almost dead over there. The Loria is kind of pushing up in an odd angle. I don't really have a good way to look at him to see where these are going to end up. I just take a random shot. Should be relatively close, but of course some of those end up hitting the island, and then he pulls forward, eats all the damage, and he's going to go down. We end up doing no extra damage there, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, this was a pretty solid effort, I think. But anyway, with all of that being said, this is what you guys are going to come to expect, right? Like these banger matches, this is what we're going to be getting on our way to that 300k number. Like I'm going to hit 300k in this shit. It is just a matter of time. But first game in, 238,000 damage, not too shabby, right? Top of the leaderboard, 3,130 base XP, the nastiest flank you'll ever get in that game. It's one of my favorite maps when people just forget about that flank and let you flank them. Oh, it's dirty. It's so dirty. But this one's going to be a little bit different. So this one, we got 3 destroyers on each team. I spawned next to a destroyer, and I believe it's a Brisbane, if I remember correctly. But it might be a Michelangelo. Actually, I think it's Michelangelo that spawns next to us. But we're going to go off to the right side. We're going to try to help our destroyer. Now, our destroyer is a Gdansk, I believe. And he's going to be, he's going to exist, at least for a little while. I don't know what else he does. But we're going to try to put ourselves in a good position. I was trying to use the old, if you pause while turning, the game will hold the turn for you. Because I was trying to do something. I forget what I was doing. I think I was like wiping my nose or something. I forget. But either way, we're going to get back into this and we're going to start pushing off to the right. Now you'll notice our destroyer starts moving forward initially, which is good. That's a good sign. Lets me know that, hey, he's means business. Problem is, he goes behind the island, okay? That's rule break number 1, all right? Your first job, especially early in the match, is to spot. If you can spot people early, a lot of times that leads to big hits for your team, right? The team that gets those early broadside shots off is usually the team that ends up getting the advantage, especially early on, going into the caps. But if you don't get that, then you're playing from behind, and that's what we're going to end up doing for a good chunk of this match, just solely based on just lack of spotting on this flank. You can see Alaska is kind of pushing over this direction too. I'm keeping an eye out there. We've got Conqueror running away. We're going to go ahead and try to put a shot out here on the Conqueror as he leaves the area. Now, if you know the map, you know that 3 people spawned on this right side. We know the Conqueror was one of them. Then there's a cruiser gets spotted and somebody's in the cap. So that generally means that there's nobody else over here. We've got the destroyer in the cap. We got the Carnot over there on the back corner. And we have the Conqueror running away. Alaska's coming this direction, so we got to keep an eye on that. But our Gdansk, in theory, should have the advantage going into that cap against the destroyer. Well, fun fact, I don't think it's actually a destroyer. At least, not initially. There is a destroyer over here, but there's actually, I want to say it's a Janan that's over here as well. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a different match. But I thought there was a Janan over here. But Carnot is going to reverse here. We're going to try to put ourselves in a position to get rid of him. Both our guys are in smoke screens. Can't really blame the Brisbane here for being in a smoke screen. But when you're the spotter, you're not supposed to be in the smoke screen, right? You're supposed to be spotting. Now you have a radar. Now remember, he's a radar destroyer, right? Gdansk is a radar destroyer. And he's going to radar when it is absolutely useless. Right? Watch. There's the radar. He's got the daring spotted, so at least me and the other cruiser can shoot at him. But, like, you're the gunboat destroyer, bruh. What are you doing? At least use your radar when you can help shoot him. You're the one with all the DPM and stuff. But the worst part is he'd already dropped the smoke screen, so it doesn't even get to take advantage of the special perk of maintaining the longer radar. And then he comes around the corner, starts shooting at the daring. And again, this daring has just been punished by me in a Montana and the guy next to me. And he just flat out doesn't even bother. And then he beaches himself and he ends up getting absolutely murdered by the enemy. It's like, I don't know how you missed that engagement up so badly, but I don't think he could have possibly done a worse job for this, like, engagement. I really don't. Like, that's an impressive level of debauchery that just went down. Now, notice where my cruiser's going. Now, this is something I got to pay attention to, too. This cruiser is actually positioning himself to help me. So this is why I'm comfortable taking this shot on the Alaska. I take the shot on the Alaska. We're going to be able to absolutely punish the broadside of that Alaska. The destroyer comes out, gets himself spotted, YOLOing me, and then my cruiser is able to easily get him out of there. And that is the Michelangelo. That's what I thought it was, but I think I said Brisbane a couple of times. But either way, Alaska, I mean, those are moments, and it's little moments like that. We weren't even talking, because I had actually, I think, muted the guy at the time, because somebody was breathing in their mic. I forget what it was. Maybe it was him. I forget. I muted somebody. And anyway, we end up in a situation where we get rid of the Alaska and the Destroyer, which is huge. Unfortunately, we lose our Gdansk because Gdansk. I don't know what happened to the man. Dude just fumbled that entire engagement away. But we're going to get a shot here into the Carnot as he exits the area stage left. And I mean, this Carnot needs to just say his prayers. This guy has go play the lottery, and here I run into my cruiser, and we end up in another match later on, being this cruiser player, this Michelangelo player, and we were talking for quite a while during the match, and we talked about this match. He's like, I'm sorry for running into you. I was like, no, it was my fault. I was like, I'm trying to get the rear guns on the Alaska to get him out of here. And here we've got the Yama not paying attention. He's set himself up in a crossfire, so we take the shot. First shot comes over, doesn't really do a whole lot. It's like the worst grouping you've ever seen. Then we swing the front guns around and honor and truth, or yeah, justice, truth, honor, and glory. Honor and glory strike with a double citadel on the Yamato. And then, of course, justice and truth is about to come around and say hello too, because I mean, he's not changed anything. He started to turn towards me, but by the time he gets that big booty moved, he's going to take a bad day. And we're going to catch him again with another big hit. And we've got one more set of guns, and just not quite enough. Got angled just enough to keep me from sending him to the Shadow Realm. Gets a couple of hits on us, and we're going to start pushing out towards the edge. Now, you'll see Michelangelo goes to the inside. I'm going to go towards the outside. We've got the Conqueror out here, as well as the enemy, what do you call it? Carnot. So we're going to try to put ourselves in a good position to finish these guys off, or at least keep their attention away from the cap, so that my Michelangelo can go in there and kill whatever he's got to kill to get the cap, right? That's the goal at this moment. So I am the distraction. But you'll notice as the Howden starts pushing into the middle as well, the enemy destroyer gets taken out. The vampire goes down to our gearing, which is huge. And then as the Howden starts dropping his airstrikes on me, I'm already like, okay, I'm pretty healthy, so I'm okay. And we get real lucky not to even take a fire there somehow. I thought every bomb on that drop causes fires, but clearly we got lucky. And that's when the Sheba dev strikes the enemy Sheba, and that pretty much seals the deal. Like, if they had a hope, it's gone now, because now our guy's going to be in the cap. There's no one really to contest it except for the Howden. Howden versus Michelangelo, I'll take the Michelangelo up close and personal, okay? Now, Conqueror comes out, and what transpires next can only be described as some of the worst RNG I will ever get. This man does turn in, to his credit, he does turn in, gets underneath my shot. Most of my shells end up going high there. Again, I expected him to kind of turn a little bit, but not as much as he did. Howden ends up trying to get behind the island. You can see I am measuring him up, but he takes one last parting shot before he goes around the corner. Of course, little does he know, he's about to run face first straight into a Michelangelo, and good luck with that at point blank and a cruiser specifically. But as we come out here on the edge, the Conqueror has been shooting HE, shocker, but the Carnot is also going to be a problem. You can see the enemy Howden starts dropping his airstrikes on me again. So we're going to turn away, and again, just the worst RNG you've ever seen. Those shells fall short and hit the belt armor of the Conqueror and all of that. Now we're going to use the rear guns to try to keep the Carnot at bay, at distance. Because the last thing I want is for these guys to get comfortable out of here. But you can see we end up dropping, or getting a fire against us here on a drop after our stuff just immediately goes on cooldown. Like as soon as we hit cooldown, we got the fire. But going in a fight with a Conqueror and a Carnot, I'm expecting fires here. We've got another heal left. You can see when RNG doesn't hate me, I can punish this Conqueror. Like, I'm not really afraid of a Conqueror most of the time. But it's not just the Conqueror that we've got to worry about. Not only... Oh, that's terrible. You see that shot go straight for the turret? Like, we aimed just a little too high there. Instead of catching the side plating, we ended up catching the turret. And there ain't no battleship going to pin the turret face armor on another battleship. It just ain't going to happen. It's the thickest armor on the ship. But here you can see we do get another nasty hit on him. And the Carnot's going to get a pretty nasty hit. You'll notice the Carnot's actually using AP. So I got to give credit where credit is due. when this Carnot, man, he got to be a pain in my backside for the entire match, which is real unfortunate. You can see, didn't quite lead him enough there. He's going to get another shot here. Watch this next shot. As it's on its way, watch how much damage we take from him. Boop! Yeah. That man just hit us for over 11 or 12,000 damage. Just absolutely ripped one on us. But as we're trying to get the guns loaded, get the rear guns out one last time, knowing that the Conqueror's about to take us out, we finally get a decent hit on the man. And of course, in true Spartan fashion, we don't even get our vengeance. We got to leave him with just enough for someone else to kill. But fortunately, we also left the Conqueror with just enough for somebody else to be able to kill. Our team was able to get the cap, and we have an easy W. Again, I don't mind sacrificing myself if my team is able to put themselves in positions to guarantee the win, right? Like, if my sacrifice is for nothing, that's when it's frustrating, right? When my team decides to throw a lead that shouldn't be thrown, or puts themselves in poor position late in the game and can't quite pull off the W after I've given everything. Like, that's the frustrating part. But as you can see, the Michelangelo did a pretty good job here, and I do end up unmuting him. But he's going to easily be able to finish off this guy. And I'm not going to lie, like, he does take a little longer than I expected for him to just finish off this Conqueror. Conqueror just fired his guns there. I would expect the Michelangelo just to open up and use his SAP primaries, right? Like, he's got to give a lot of broadside for it, but at the end of the day, it's a Conqueror. But I also understand that you got a lot of SAP secondaries that you can move into, but I think he could have got a little bit of extra damage in this one if he'd have just fired his guns instead of trying to get into secondary range. But either way, it's going to be an easy W for the team. And we did everything on our side of the map, me and the Michelangelo. Michelangelo did everything he could do during the match as well. Captured bases, he helped get rid of the destroyer. Even without us talking, we were able to kind of like plan that out. It's like, I look at the cruiser next to me, and I'm like, okay, well, cruiser's got a shot at the destroyer if I take the shot on the Alaska, right? And so it just happened to work out perfectly. But 3,156 base XP. Michelangelo, again, honorable mention. 2,500 with two kills as well. But that's not all, folks. We're only halfway through the video. We got two more matches to go here. This one's going to be a little bit longer of a video. But again, same map. Probably looks pretty familiar, right? But we're going to try to, once again, set up a crossfire. We end up spawning in the mid this time, so we're going to probably sit still a little bit. Not necessarily sit still, but move forward, get into a crossfire situation where we can help not only the right side, but also the left side of the map. Now, one of the things that a lot of battleship captains do is on maps where they spawn middle, a lot of times battleship captains immediately abandon the middle of the map. That's not a good move a lot of times, especially on a smaller map like this, where it's a wide map, but it's not very deep, right? So there's not a lot of room between where we spawn and the enemy spawn. So as soon as people get spotted, you're able to shoot pretty much everybody on the map from the middle position. Now, you also got to keep in mind that if you get spotted, pretty much everybody on the map is capable of shooting you back. So putting yourself in that position, you got to keep that in mind, right? Understand who's shooting at you, where they're shooting from, and understand what you're trying to accomplish. Now, right off the bat, this main is flat, broadside, and begging for it. This is what I'm talking about. If you abandon your flank, you don't see this in time, right? If I push up too early, then I'm behind an island right now, and I probably don't have a good look at this guy. But because I kind of just held tight for a moment, I get that shot as we move in behind the island, and then we're going to be able to break contact, where at least we would be if there wasn't a destroyer spotting us from Alpha. But you can see we are about to take a shot again at the main. I expected the main to understand that he's probably okay to turn back in. But I get spotted when I fire the guns again, and unfortunately that main is paying attention after getting clapped the first time he got touched. He's like, nope, I don't feel like getting touched again. So instead, he is going to turn away. Now, I want you guys to pay real close attention as to what happens for a good chunk of this match. And you can blame me, you can blame whoever you want to blame in this match, but this is one of those matches that was definitely should have went a different direction. As we're sitting here, we've got a good look at this Michelangelo, but he's bow into us. Now, we do overmatch as long as we aim high on the Michelangelo, so we're going to take that shot. If we hit superstructure, great. If we hit like any part that we overmatch, great. We're going to be able to get some damage. Don't get the best hits on the Michelangelo, unfortunately. If I'd have known he was going to go full broadside, I'd have just held the shot. But I wasn't anticipating him going full broadside. And now that he's full broadside, it's like, okay, this man's is dead, right? Like, he's at a Michelangelo, he is broadside at 10 kilometers to a Montana. And he's about to turn even more broadside. So we take the shot. Now, as he's turning away, one thing that's important to remember is he's going to get the benefit of the doubt with the Citadel being lowered when he's turning away from me, right? Because the ship is tilting towards me. But it doesn't matter. We get like the worst grouping you've ever seen in the world. We get a bunch of overpins, and we are just left with like the worst feelings on the planet. Like, there's nothing worse than seeing a broadside juicy target and then getting absolutely nothing out of it. That's the worst for me. But speaking of broadside juicy targets, hello Schlieffen. How are you doing? Now I want you guys to pay attention to this Schlieffen, okay? This is a key moment of this game. This guy is in PGX clan. I'm pretty sure that that's PG's actual like clan for his folks. And we clapped that man. Completely clapped him. Arthas active, all the things. Left him with, you know, minimal health. But what happens next is he's going to beach himself on the island. And I don't know what happens with this shot. I'll be real honest. This guy is going to beach himself on the island. Watch this. We know he's going to try to reverse, potentially. So we go ahead and we place the shot. And then, just in case he doesn't reverse a whole lot, we go ahead and put it towards the middle of the ship. And he actually got shot really badly. And then our shells do basically nothing. And leave him with just enough to continue being a problem. And now we do have one battleship left over there, but he's not really put himself in a position to help anybody. And then as I push myself over to this left flank, I'm going to end up in a situation where I'm the only one on this flank that's shootable because my entire team is going to be hiding. Except for the battleship that rushes in. I want you guys to pay attention. So, right here, beautiful shot at the Montana. Worst RNG you've ever seen. Like, this is the kind of shots that just are tragic. You see that kind of RNG, you're just like, I don't know what I should do better. Like, I guess I didn't sacrifice my baby carrots today, or I just had too many good salvos early in the night, and I was due for a bad one. Just had a good salvo against the Schlieffen, so it is what it is, right? Now, here we take a shot at the Worcester as we're trying to, like, I don't know, throw everybody here in the middle off their game, right? Because these guys are being a pain for my team, and we get a really good result out of that salvo. But if you'll notice what the enemy is about to start doing, they're going to start trying to get a little bit too aggressive on my other battleship. My other battleship is going to YOLO straight in, and the two cruisers are not really able to be shot because they're both smoke cruisers, right? I believe it's a Sejong and a Brisbane that are both smoke cruisers, but terrible shot at the Montana here. That's on me. Dude had propulsion mod and the freaking engine boost to get out of the way of that. I mean, he went from going in reverse to full throttle, probably almost all of his speed that he could muster in 2 seconds. It was crazy. I wasn't expecting a Montana to get up and go like that, but alright, that ain't the BA Montana. Why did I think that was the BA Montana? That's just a regular Montana. I guess I saw the paint job and thought it was the BA paint job, but it's actually, I think, the Optimus Prime paint job. Or something. But we get a shot here at the GK. We're going for superstructure. Not trying to get a lot of damage, just trying to get anything we can get at this point. We do get the Arthas out, and just, again, tragedy strikes. Just the worst salvo ever. Our battleship just goes full stupid mode right up into the team. Like, this is not ideal, right? So me being the nice teammate that I am, I try to pull out and try to help the man out. Like, he's putting himself out there in a bad position, but if I can help take some of the heat off of him, we can potentially save him from being completely ruined, right? Or at least that was the thought. Instead, what happens is he gets completely ruined, and then I end up overextending and put myself in a situation where I'm in trouble. And of course, the guys on the other side of the map managed to not be able to take out that enemy, and we get the Arthas-assisted Citadel on the GK at the back of the map too. So again, RNG giveth, RNG taketh away, right? Now, these battleships aren't really that scary to me normally. But you throw enough stuff at a wall, eventually some of it going to stick, and you can see this GK gets absolutely run over by torpedoes. We get a beautiful looking salvo out as well. We're going to punch his broadside. And right now, I don't know why my cruisers decide that they all need to hide behind the island. But then what happens is I just get kind of abandoned here. And then you can see the dude radars. I don't know what he's radaring. There's a Montana coming straight at me. We know that. And we're trying to stay as angled as possible because we got 3 different battleships, but you can see the enemy Montana's pushing up, and now I've got to think that we've got to get rid of this Montana, which means I'm going to have to make a turn that is ill-advised, right? Not ideal. If I want to get rid of this Montana, now you see Montana takes a shot here. I know I'm safe to then commit to the turn, expecting the GK to my right to be behind the island. Unfortunately, they are going to come around the island and get a shot into my broadside between the 2 of those GKs. Just as I get into being able to shoot this Montana, and there we take a huge hit. But we are going to make sure that we get rid of this Montana, go through that cheek straight into the front turret. And we're going to try to continue the turn away, but again, we're going to get hit with another Citadel. The GK just got the best salvo of his life. Not only did he Citadel me the first 2 turrets, but he also Citadel me with the rear 2 turrets on his way out. Now, he does take torpedoes and immediately you get taken out, but again, we're being spotted, and there's no way for me to drop spot because the GK decides to come around the corner. So we're being DPM'd by the guys that we couldn't kill earlier, and the GK is just sitting here just begging for it. So we're going to try to get some shots into the GK here, try to help get rid of him. We know we're probably dead here, so we just got to do as much as we can before we die. We get most of the health off of the GK and leave him, of course, with just enough to continue being a problem. And with no health left, it's just a matter of time before somebody finishes me. Whether it's the fire or the GK, we're going down. But 224,000 damage, not a bad game at all. And this is a winnable game. And I want you guys to pay attention to what goes on next. And this Brisbane and Sejong here, they are dropping torps. They're doing their thing. They're open water gunboating. But he open water gunboats here. But watch what happens next. As they get rid of the GK, suddenly both of these guys get into I don't want to do things mode. And you still got to win the match. All right? It's a 4 versus 2. You're both in very squishy light cruisers. You can't put yourself in bad positions to get blown up because we have to win the match. We have a 300-point lead, or not quite a 300. It'd be a 230-point lead, essentially. But they have 2 caps now. They're going to be able to capture the Bravo cap and get away with that. Now, unfortunately, our Sejong kind of puts himself in a bad position because he's going to go straight across the bow of all these guys in Charlie, or in Bravo, and he's going to go back towards the guy that was in the smoke screen over there. Now, here we have a beautiful look at a broadside Worcester in a Brisbane. Again, you got to learn to switch ammo types in these light cruisers, man. If you've got this look, you have got to load AP. He loads AP, guaranteed kills this freaking Worcester, right? Guaranteed. That Worcester never bothered trying to angle. You can see he takes a couple of hits, no big deal, but he is broadside to a Schlieffen now. Remember, this is the Schlieffen that we messed up a minute ago and left him with about this much health left. So this man managed to kill 2 other battleships with this much health, right? Like, come on. You guys gotta do better. You gotta do better, battleships. Seriously. But unfortunately, our cruiser is going to put himself, like I said, he's going to kind of put himself right in a position to get messed up. You can see he is shooting at the other cruiser. These guys are kind of on the same page. You got a Dalian and you got this Sejong. Essentially similar sort of ships. They're both light cruisers with high DPMs. Neither of them willing to shoot AT here, which, again, isn't the worst because your HE is going to pen here as well against these guys. So the downside is he is just kind of low health, and he's going to put himself out there where his enemy team can actually shoot him. It's not just the Dalian shooting him. But he also decides not to use any AP here, and I'm pretty confident at that angle he could have pinned it, but maybe I'm wrong. But either way, at this point, this guy needs to be understanding that game is over if you don't do something, right? He is going to catch this Schlieffen with a torpedo right on the snoot. Watch it. Right on the snoot. Boop! Right there. I guarantee that had to have caused a flood, right? You also know that Schlieffen has like limited damage controls, right? So at this point, you have got to go guns hot. You cannot let this guy get away. We can't let the enemy win on points when you have a guy that you know you just hit with a torpedo, probably had the damage con. Maybe he didn't get the flood. But either way, the guy has maybe 15,000 health left, if that. I can't see exactly how much health he's got left. But he's probably got 15,000 or less. And with the DPM of a Brisbane and the range that he's at, he could easily burn this Schlieffen down. But instead, he kites all the way to the edge of the border, never actually ends up taking a shot, lets the enemy get into the caps. And you got to remember, the other cruiser that just killed our pal and the other cruiser, he's going to go to Charlie. So you had to have made that count. And because he lets him get away, the Schlieffen is going to get out of here. And this is unacceptable. Just straight up unacceptable. You have to get that kill. You've got to recognize when you're going to lose the match and play accordingly. You can't play safe all the time. Sometimes you got to take that chance. If you know you're going to lose, you got to take that chance. You got to get rid of that battleship. That's a 100-point swing, right? That's a 60-point additive to your team and a minus 40 for the enemy, I believe, right? Something like that. I think it's 60 points for your team and 40 points away from the enemy team for losing their battleship. But again, look at how long he's waiting. And then he finally does shoot, and he's shooting AP at the Schlieffen. You see what I'm saying? So he knows that he can change ammo types, and the AP on this thing is a Mino. I mean, good God, it's got fantastic AP. But here, he doesn't even bother trying to dodge. He's just trying to get shots out and doesn't manage to take down the Schlieffen. Schlieffen gets away, and at this point, it's GG. There's nothing he can do. Unless the two cruisers throw their health away and come at him in a way that he can get the kill on them, like this one's GG. But these are the kinds of games that they get kind of frustrating because, like, we could have won this. We should have won this. This was a winnable game. You can blame me for pushing in there. I shouldn't have overcommitted trying to help that teammate on the left flank. But I, at least before I went out, I did as much as I could with what I had, right? We took two unlucky citadels against the GK that came out from behind his island just in time. But other than that, I mean, I feel like these cruisers could have easily clutched this at the end of the match. They just got to try a little bit more instead of playing so passively at the end. But specifically the Brisbane. But either way, unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Our team is going to lose this match on points, and the enemy is going to try. Actually, I think they end up killing him, because the enemy does come out with both cruisers to attack the Brisbane. I think they do end up killing the Brisbane before the end of this match. But I thought he was going to get him with this torpedo, and that would have been huge. Really would have. But unfortunately, just not enough. Just able to skirt the edge of the torpedo and live. But at the end of the day, again, had your chance. You could have sailed off into the sunset had you killed that freaking Schlieffen, I think. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But either way, it was a good game. It was at least interesting. And you can see, actually, it was the main gets him from downtown. Go figure. Right at the buzzer, too. But overall, not a bad game. 1,700 base, top of the leaderboard. You can see Sejong was trying, and again, Brisbane, I think, could have just done a little bit more there towards the end to secure that W. I think that was a winnable one. The one that slipped away. But like we said, there are 4 matches, and I've got a lightning round for you guys. If you like big hits, you're going to enjoy this one. We got some big hits in this one again. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is no destroyers, right? So this is already green light for me. You got a handful of cruisers, a handful of battleships, no destroyers for escorts. I'm taking the flank, and I'm pushing. Because we're not going to get the spotting, so there's no sense in sitting back, right? So trying to get out to a flank early and get in position to set up those crossfires for your team is absolutely crucial. You'll see that we do actually have a Brisbane here that could be very useful for us because he's sneaky, has a smoke screen potentially if he doesn't have his radar. Could have the smoke screen to drop spot if he does. But as we push this flank, my thought process is, how can I do the best that I can to benefit my team, right? And with as tanky as the Montana can be, taking the actual flank early and being able to spot for my team so that they're not at a disadvantage, right? They can kind of play their normal way. They'll have spotting. I get spotted early, which tells me there's a cruiser nearby, right? We know that there's no destroyer, so it's got to be a cruiser. Also, I ran into a lot of people that were talking in this one. You may recognize Harley again. We ran into Harley again from the other night that I ended up diving with the other night. But we ran into him again tonight. But Ohio, I mean, this is a beautiful look at this Ohio. I ain't gonna lie. We go ahead, we hit the Arthas button on that. We see that there's a Mino in the neighborhood as well. We get 19,000 damage on our first shot. We're also turning under, trying to limit the amount of damage we take in return. The one doing most of the damage to us right now is the Mino, getting those AP shells that are just absolutely obnoxious into us. But then the Vermont, I mean, if you play the Vermont, don't play like this, okay? This man is over-angled as crap, and he's about to get a harsh lesson in being over-angled as we slap the ever-living shit out of him. Literally half health that Vermont with only a single citadel and multiple penetrations. You just can't do it. You can't be that broadside. But, you know, Vermont says, anything I can do once, I can do twice, and better the second time. So he goes full broadside, fully commits to the, okay, I don't need to be angled at all. And let's see if he needs to be angled. Boop! There goes. Oh, it wasn't a fluke. Oh, gosh. Who'd have known that a ship with the citadel that's exposed is probably not the best choice to be broadside? I would have never guessed. Now, right there, we actually get shot by a teammate. Like, I don't know why, but we did. Got shot by a teammate there. But we're going to go ahead and try to finish off the Vermont here with a shot into the superstructure. We've got the Mino coming up as well, so we're going to go ahead and start rotating our guns to the right. We do finish off the Vermont. We get our first kill. And as we start pushing in, we're going to be in the cap, so we've got the advantage here in every sense of the word. Now, paying attention to the minimap is crucial. You're going to see very soon that the battleship that spawned mid is about to make his little push into the middle, and he's going to have my broadside. And that's no bueno. And just as we start to shoot at this Mino here, you can see I'm still getting shot by my teammate. Like, my teammate is actively shooting me rather than doing their job. Where do I find these folks, man? Am I just this lucky, or is this a normal thing that everybody finds other people that just go around shooting their teammates rather than doing their job? And then he dies because of it. Shocker. I would have never guessed. Apparently it's my fault that he was firing his guns in the open. But here you'll see we got a beautiful look at this Mino. He is going to change course. You can see I try to adjust, but it was kind of a hasty change of shot here. So we're not expecting huge hits. I was hoping for it, but again, when you kind of get those like rushed shots where you know that the guy is changing course mid-shot, so you try to just hurry up and change course or change your shot, you're probably going to miss. Now, the Columbo does get himself into a position. I do check and make sure what he's doing. You can see he's kind of beached broadside right now, so I'm not all that worried about him. I can deal with him in a moment. The Ohio's still stuck behind the island. We got a beautiful shot at this Mino, and finally, the game is like, screw you, Mino. He is going to get a torp on us, but at the end of the day, that torp means absolutely nothing. Because now, it's time for me to ignore the Ohio, because he's not a threat to me, he's behind the island, and start dealing with this Columbo who's beached himself broadside in the map. Now, you can see I am looking at the Ohio, because on one side, as much as I want to go for the Columbo, if I go broadside to commit to the Columbo, I'm going to get absolutely railed by that Ohio, and that's no bueno, right? But because the Ohio is stuck behind the island and not actually doing his job, I'm able to absolutely punish the Columbo here. And again, this is all about watching your crossfires, right? And I'm still cognizant of the fact that freaking Ohio is there. We've got the Colbert starting to push up. We're going to take that shot over the island on the Colbert as well. He wasn't expecting this, and we should have gotten the kill there. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little bit salty about that one. I was pretty confident in that shot. But here you can see as the Columbo is starting to reverse, we're going to get another shot into the bow side plating. Get another beautiful shot. We're up to 184,000 damage, and look how many people are left, folks. This match was the one. And there's one spot in particular where I get screwed, right? This Ohio waits just long enough to push around the corner, but I can't quite lob the island. You can see I am measuring him, but I just can't quite lob the island. And then I was hoping that we would be able to be in a position to deal with this Gross Kerfurst. Figured the Gross Kerfurst is going to turn back in to help his team, right? Over there at Alpha. Look at the cruisers that are over there. This Kerfurst is definitely going to do that, right? So I'm going to put myself in a position to push in through the middle, have the Kerfurst, as well as whatever other battleship that is, which turns out to be a Yamato over there. But it'll also allow me to get a little bit further away from the island. I do bump into this island, which is not ideal, which is going to slow down my push quite a bit. The Ohio goes down, which we already knew that was going to be a thing. But as we push out, everything that could go wrong about this next engagement goes wrong. I really, really, really want to kill that Groza Curvehurst. I'm thinking easy damage, right? Easiest damage on the planet. We get rid of this Columbo. And I called this Columbo, by the way. Harley got mad at me in the chat. He's like, you do this to me every time. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, the man shot me. He ain't been shooting you. I'm the one up in here. I'm the one brawling. Can't get mad at me for it. But I did call it. I said, that Columbo's dead. And he's like, that's mine. That's like, too late. But fun fact is, I'm calling this Curvehurst right now. I'm like, guys, please don't shoot the Curvehurst. It's like, this could be the one, you know. You got 70,000 damage there, but you can see the man has just lost all of his health. It's like, ah, crap. Like, this could... Ooh, what was that? But this could have been the one. Like, I was pretty confident this was going to be the one. But, unfortunately, it just fell apart right at the end. And that's what makes those 300k games so special. And if you get more than that, you're like, you crazy. Right? Like, you just happen to be in the perfect game at the perfect time in the perfect ship with the perfect play style to get those insane, ridiculous games like the 400k plus. Like, I'll never get that, most likely. But we do manage to hit the Des Moines over there, picking up our 4th kill. And you'll notice that the Yama is still very healthy. And that's why I'm saying, like, we get rid of the Des Moines. Should have had the Colbert. Should have had a Kraken right now, but didn't quite get that kill. And if we could have got some of the health off of this Curvehurst and then got in range to smash that friggin' Yamato, like, this was easy 300k, but it just didn't quite materialize at the end. Had it at the beginning, just one wrong move, bumping into that island, not being able to get into a position to get the crossfire, but doesn't mean we can't yoink a Kraken, right, guys? So we throw the shells out there, and we ruin Harley's day one last time by yoinking the Curvehurst from him and taking the Kraken. So you gotta love that. Ain't nothing wrong with picking up a Kraken. And the Yama goes down, but ends up being only 206k, what should have been so much more. And that's just on me. That bumping into the island and then not being able to get any of the damage off the Yamato or the Curvehurst, that's what cost that 300k right there. That was a 300k game. But what can we do? It's not a 300k game. It'll be the one that got away. Let me know what you guys think. If you are enjoying this Montana Madness series, please punch that like button. The more likes, the better. We got to make this series pop off to make it worth it. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.